began asymptomatic
Several
testing.
student organizations at FGCU,
And we're going to play Guess the Song.
Hello, welcome to Hanging with the Executives here at the Bauer School of Music.
And you're watching ENTV.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another week of Hard Hitters. This week I'm your host Sarah Mankowitz, and I'm joined with
Nick Asselin
and Tyler Watkins.
And we are back and better than ever. We had some very, very shocking games this week. I mean, a lot of our predictions, for me at least, weren't exactly all that accurate, and especially Nick with your Green Bay Packers. You didn't have faith in them, but Tyler here did. But with those great games, we had the Ravens versus the Lions game. We had the Ravens losing to the Lions 19-17, and it really came down to that fourth quarter there. What do you guys think happened with that game?
Oh, it was a 66-yard field goal. Yeah, I mean, insane. Justin Tucker, not only did he kick that field goal for the win, but I think that kicked him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and we can't forget about the play before that, the questionable delay of game penalty. Yes. And also the Ravens shouldn't have been in that situation. They missed some opportunities early with Marquise Brown missing some catches, 3 TDs I believe he dropped, catchable balls that he could have had in the end zone, and they really shouldn't have been in that position with Detroit to begin with.
Right, just an off week, because I think we pretty much all predicted the Ravens to win last week. This next game is the Jags versus the Cardinals game, and it wasn't exactly a close game in the end, but the Jags were looking like they were going to win. It looked like they were going to beat the Cardinals. They looked really good offensive-wise. They were in the lead for the first half of the game at least, but they ended, the Cardinals won 19-31, so...
Trevor Lawrence had another dud kind of game. He had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, another multi-interception game, and he doesn't look like he got into the NFL speed of NFL play yet, but I think he will adjust eventually down the road in the season, hopefully.
Yeah, it definitely looked like one of Lawrence's best games thus far, but he's just got to do a better job protecting the football.
But moving on, we've got this week's upcoming games. We've got our predictions for you guys, and so we've got obviously the Jags versus the Bengals, and so we've seen the Jags just not being able to pull off wins this season. The Bengals have been looking fantastic. I got the Bengals.
I got the Bengals, too. They pulled off a great win against Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, I believe, too.
The showdown of the last 2 number 1 overall picks, I think it's going to go to Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Definitely. I mean, we saw Joe Burrow making great progress last season. He's just carried that into this season as well. But next, we got the Titans versus the Jets. We've got the Jets, who no one really has faith in. I mean, it's the Jets. They blew their first-round draft pick for this season. And so the Titans might not be all that great of a team, but I think they have what it takes to beat the Jets.
Yeah, I think this is a calibration kind of game for the Titans. I think that they'll come out on top for this one.
Definitely. And so with that, we've got the Lions versus the Bears. We saw how the Lions game went this past week. What do you guys think about how they're going to play against the Bears?
Well, if Matt Nagy comes out with the same game plan he came out with last week against the Browns, I don't think it's going to be much of a contest, and I think even with the Lions struggling so far this season to win games, the Lions are going to take this one.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind the Lions, even though they're 0-3, they did have a lot of close games with some top-tier teams. You know, the Packers game was close for the most part. They had the lead at one point, and then the Ravens game, I mean, they kind of let that one slip away, but I mean, what are you going to do about a 66-yard kick? But I think I'm going to go with the Lions for this one.
Lions, yeah. All in consensus. And so next we've got the Colts versus the Dolphins. I mean, we saw the Dolphins not having too great of a season. It looks like they were doing great at some points, but Tua is also out for the next couple of weeks.
Jacoby Brissett, he didn't look too bad in his start last week with the Dolphins, but I think the Colts are going to take this one.
Yeah, I have the Colts in this one. The Dolphins did start off kind of hot in the first part of the game against the Raiders last week, but I mean, they couldn't finish out, but I think the Colts will get the first one.
Definitely. And then we've got the Browns versus the Vikings. I think this is actually going to be a pretty close game. I think the Browns are going to overtake it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the Browns are going to take this one as well. The Vikings, they've been in some pretty close games. They won last week, but the 2 games before that they lost, one was in OT, and another one was a really close game as well. But I think the Browns are going to take it.
Yeah, I think the Browns, too. They had a great defensive performance against the Bears last week, and I think they carried it into this matchup, even though the Vikings came out with that statement win against Seattle. I think the Browns will take this.
Definitely. And then we've got Washington versus the Falcons. I'm curious, what do you guys think about this game?
I got Washington coming out of this one. I got the football team coming out of this one. I think that they will rebound because I believe they lost last week, but I think
they only lost by 1 point though last week, and so I think it's like 29-30.
Yes,
so not bad.
With the Falcons playing at home, I think the Falcons are going to take it.
See, I'm going to agree with Tyler on this one. I'm going to say the Falcons don't have it. I'm going to say Washington's actually got it. So We'll see. But moving on, we've got the Texans versus the Bills. I've got the Bills for this one. I think the Bills will look fantastic. We saw them beat the Dolphins 35-0.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take the Bills, no question on this one. I will take the Bills for this one.
Yeah, I got the Bills too. Davis Mills, this will be a good matchup for him. Play against a much tougher defense. Only his second career start. So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Definitely. And then we've got the Giants versus the Saints. I think the Saints, unfortunately, did very good against the Patriots. And so I think they do have that little bit of momentum and a little bit more of an offense.
The Giants, they haven't looked too impressive this season. And if the Saints really get the run game working like they did last week, they got this one.
Yeah, I had the Saints too. That offense was working towards the end of the game against the Patriots, and the defense really stepped up early on and got some stops. I'm going to take the Saints for this one.
Next, we've got the Chiefs versus the Eagles. The Chiefs haven't looked as great as they did last season. But then again, the Eagles haven't looked great last season or this season. I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, I had the Chiefs too. That beatdown that the Eagles took last week in Dallas. I mean, all that smack talk from Sirianni just, beat Dallas week, but you got beat by Dallas this week. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to rebound.
Yeah, I think the overreaction of, are the Chiefs still the team to beat this season is a bit of an overreaction. And so I think they'll take this one against the Eagles.
Next, we've got the Panthers versus the Cowboys. We just talked a little bit about the Cowboys and how well they did. So I've actually got the Cowboys this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys as well. They looked really good against the Eagles. Granted, it is the Eagles, but the Eagles defense hasn't been playing too bad this season.
They have a whole different vibe to them this year. I really feel like a different type of play all around. They're rallying behind Dak. The defense looks better this year. I really believe in the Cowboys this year, and I'm going to have to take them.
Definitely. And we've got the Seahawks versus the 49ers. I think the 49ers might have that edge over the Seahawks, though.
Yeah, the Seahawks and 49ers games always put on a pretty good show. Mm-hmm. With the game being in San Francisco, I think the 49ers are going to take this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take the 49ers in this one. They definitely did come alive towards that second half against the Packers, and I really think that if they would have had better clock management, they would have taken the game.
And we've got the Cardinals versus the Rams. I mean, we saw that the Cardinals did do well against the Jags in that second half there and ended up getting a win last week. But the Rams are just looking amazing offensively, defensively. And so I think the Rams have just had a really good season so far, and the Rams are going to take this one.
But I'm going to stick with my trend here and pick in the home field advantage teams, and I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take the Rams too. Two powerhouse offenses coming this week. I think this will be a great matchup, but I think the Rams will take it.
All right, so moving forward, we've got the Steelers versus the Packers. A little bias here, Nick.
I'm going to take the Packers this week. I'm not going to take the opponent on this one.
I have to agree this time.
The Steelers' offense has not looked great this season. Big Ben doesn't look like his usual self. And with the game being in Lambeau Field, I think the crowd's going to be really loud and play an impact.
Yeah, I definitely think that Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben, has definitely aged. And, I'm going to take the Packers in this one. The Steelers definitely look like they gave up towards the end against the Bengals. And it just doesn't look the same as they did in week one. So
definitely. And we've got the Ravens versus the Broncos. The Ravens have looked fantastic last season, and I think they're going for a better season even this season. And so I think offensively the Ravens really have that edge over the Broncos, and so I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, I think this game will be the first test for the Broncos. They come into this one undefeated, great wins led by Teddy Bridgewater and that defense too. But I'm going to have to take the Ravens.
The saddest game of the week for me this week is the Buccaneers versus the Patriots. Oh, my God. We have Tom Brady back in New England, but not playing for the Patriots. And so this is going to be a pretty good matchup. I'm excited for it. However, I'm going to take the Bucs on this one, unfortunately.
For me, I'm going to take my Bucs in this one in a revenge game. And yeah, and I think that they're going to really run over the Patriots on this one. I'm going to be bold and go ahead and claim it right now. It's going to be at least a 3-score game.
Yeah, I got the Bucs as well. I don't think it'll be that big of a beatdown as you're saying, but I think it'll be the Bucs taking this one.
And so then last but not least, we've got the Raiders versus the Chargers game. I've got the Raiders. I think they've looked pretty good this season.
I got the Chargers here. I think they've played really good last week against the Chiefs.
Okay. A little upset?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and please tune in to our other hard hitters segments.